Thank you for attending the Town of Amherst Historic Preservation Commission meeting for September 9th, 2025. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mancuso, Amplement, Swartz,
Here.
Waterman Culpa,
Here.
Hershey, Kenzie,
Here.
Wright.
Here.
For the town, Marinucci, Fidel here, Quinn, Odiata, Howard.
All right, thanks, everyone. First item on our agenda is the minutes approval from our August 12th, 2025 meeting. Take a minute to thumb through that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. We have nothing under new business, so we'll move right into old business. Item number 1 in old business is the demolition referral that we received for 6350 Main Street. We had established a subcommittee to look into the property of Ms. Wright, Ms. Waterman Culpa, Mr. Amplement. Does anyone from that group have any commentary, any discussion?
Just the history behind it. It was a 64-acre of farmland in the 1800s, purchased in around, I think, 1910, and quickly became an orphanage for, obviously, children. But there were many articles supporting other buildings throughout the campus, except for the building that we're looking at, unfortunately, which makes me believe that it was part of the original farm. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not documented under any of the permits through the town. No articles, no photos. Reached out to the History Museum and Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village as well, and couldn't find anything regarding that building specifically.
And upon site visits, the building in question is inaccessible to the public. And the rest is in the packet.
Yep. Oh, of course.
So when you go onto the site, the campus, and you go towards the back where this building is off to the back on the west side, if you go past like a maintenance type garage, there is like a dirt path, but there's a barricade in the way with preventing access from the building itself.
Yeah, and this seems to be the only building that has not been repurposed throughout its lifetime. The other buildings that were built around like 1916 and later have been repurposed, but this one has not.
And you said it was 1910?
The property was purchased by a Methodist orphanage sort of
Oh,
thing, and yeah.
so it's pre that,
Yeah.
the original
Potentially,
farm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's not really much history.
There's photos of almost every other building throughout the campus, excluding this one.
Yeah, if you back up to the map that you had up there, the survey, or whatever that was.
The
Not
yellow
that
square.
one. Yeah, that one. That path that leads back to the building doesn't seem to be there. If you go to the
That.
aerial, yeah, if you go over there, so see the red building? That's where the access is denied, right past the red building.
But you can see where the old.
This
line
right
was.
here,
But that's a new way, but
and
it-
there's blocked access right here.
So it looks like
This
yeah,
doesn't
that
seem to
road.
be here at all.
that road there, because you can see where it branched off and would have connected over that grassy area.
Okay.
So does that committee feel like all efforts for research and investigation have been exhausted? Do we feel like there's something still out there to be attained?
Maybe some older maps that I didn't see. But again, I reached out and they didn't have anything on file.
I mean, the most you could hope to find at this point was that a very important person lived there.
Yeah,
And,
and-
I mean,
some sort of event
the-
or.
And that's
the
what I was looking
architecture is a
through, yeah.
typical, you know, vernacular farmhouse.
Yep.
Unfortunately, has been very neglected
Mhm.
by ownership. And if someone was to create a nomination for the property, most likely it would be about the buildings that are part of the Methodist campus and the orphanage. And this farmhouse would just be probably non-contributing
Probably
to
non-contributing.
that
Yeah.
Anyway.
nomination, although deemed historical, and, you know, it would be non-contributing to that nomination because it doesn't fit the theme of
And
what
it
would be on
predates,
the
yeah.
campus.
Period of significance for that, if we were to move forward, is not
I mean,
a
you
part
could,
of it.
you could
could
make
expand
the,
it, but-
expand it,
Okay.
yeah. You could expand it to include that.
But it wouldn't be pivotal to it.
Probably not to the theme that I would jump out at me of the Methodist orphanage campus.
Okay. All right, thank you for your work on this.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry.
I think hearing, so we've had a due diligence period from the subcommittee, not coming up with anything significant. I think I would like to make a motion. So my motion is to approve the demolition referral for the buildings listed at 6350 Main Street, the vernacular house and associated garage shown in the photographs and described in the narrative. Does anyone have any conditions?
Well, first, let's get a second, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay. Does anyone want a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Kenzie. Let's
Now let's talk about it.
halt for discussion.
Because I don't think it's an approval of the demolition permit. I think that it is a motion stating that the Historic Preservation Commission
Has
has reviewed and will not be moving forward with recommending landmark status, local landmark status for local landmark nomination for this structure in question at 6350 Main Street.
Okay. Do we have to redo the motion then?
I would. So
Okay.
if you're comfortable rescinding your second, rescinding your nomination, let's start over.
Okay. So
I rescind.
I'll rescind my motion that I just stated, and we will make a new motion.
So how about I make a motion that the Historic Preservation Commission will not be pursuing a local landmark nomination for the building at the rear, including a house and a garage at 6350 Main Street, due to its current condition and the lack of information found about the original farm at the site in which we believe this building was part of.
Can we take a second? Do I hear a second? Excuse me.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Mancuso. No.
No,
We can vote?
yes.
Should we take a roll, or do we want to just, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Thank you for that due diligence on that. I appreciate it.
Just gonna say.
Yep. Yep.
We did what we could.
Okay. Item number 2, tax exemption law. We went over it last time. I've got some notes here, but I don't think anything went really any farther on it. It's like everyone said, it's existing in the statute. Sorry. Yep. Thank you, James. Yep. No, it's good.
So does this need to stay on the agenda?
Yeah, I don't know. Can we remove it from the agenda? Yeah.
I think that I think in the future, we just have to come up with like an educational sort of plan or some way to inform residents that this is available, commercial building owners, that this is available.
Yeah. And we do have some budget available to create a flyer or something to that effect. Would you be okay with like making a little flyer for it?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then we can decide how we want to like move forward, maybe with blue rated buildings or, things like that.
Yeah.
Should we set a budget for that flyer this evening so that we can progress on that as it's already September?
Sure. We had about $1,300 to start with, or
we have-
excuse me, 950 available. That's right. Oh, thank you. Yep, about 1,300, and then after we were going to get another NAPC membership set aside for food, and then I was going to pursue getting a banner or a tablecloth, which I have not done and I need to do. That'll put us about, I'd say, $1,700 left. So you want to say
250
two-
bucks?
Yeah, 250. Yeah. Okay.
Up to $250, and
Okay.
then it'll be a trifold, 8.5 by 11. Unless you want it to be a one pager, like flat.
Or maybe a 5x7, bigger
Okay.
postcard.
Oh, nice.
I can make a few different variations of it.
Yep.
We can just put like a QR code on there.
Yeah. Good.
Awesome.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I'll come up with a few different variations of that and then I can present it at the next meeting.
Perfect. So,
Thank you.
so do we just want to budget that for tonight, or do we want to make a motion to allow Haley to move forward with that up to $250?
Sure. Yeah.
Purposes of.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion for the HPC to create an educational piece for the exemption for historic property alterations and rehabilitations tax exemption. Item up to $250, not to exceed $250 from the Historic Preservation Commission budget, annual budget.
I second. Do we need a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll second because it's your it's your
you're
thing.
doing
Yeah. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right.
Wow, for nothing to be said on that one. We covered a bit.
Good.
Yeah.
And then on September 11th, so this Thursday, I have it on my calendar to send out the roundtable invites to the other historic preservation commissions.
Perfect.
For the roundtable on Thursday, November 13th at 6:30. At 6:30
Yeah. and the
here.
room is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
And do we have a budget already for food?
Two.
So, didn't we do that
200.
last time?
200.
Yeah, we upped it a little from last time.
So that was already approved?
Yep. Well, we talked about it. I don't think we approved it.
Okay, well then, can we do a motion?
Sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
No,
Because it's more like training and sharing of information. Yep.
so speaking of training, let's see, the calendar year for Amherst is January 1st. So make sure you get your 4 hours.
Yeah.
NACP is a great resource for that.
I think there's one coming up next Thursday,
No, the 25th,
Oh, yep.
2 Thursdays.
25th. There's an outline. Yeah, James, Brian sent out. Yep. There's one coming up.
No, 2 Thursdays. Yes, Thursday, September 25th at 1 PM Eastern Standard Time, and the topic is historic context studies. Context.
All right, do you want me to make a motion for the food? Yeah, all right, so I'd like to make a motion to approve expenditure of not to exceed $200 for various food and drink for the upcoming roundtable on November 13th at 6:30 at Town Hall. Use $250 or $200 from our budget. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Wright. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Yep.
Dan, could you talk at the mic? No?
Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. So the remaining, because we've got 1,300 left after we used some of it, paid already. These are our set asides. Yep. 700 left.
Okay, well,
Okay.
should I make a motion then to
NAPC.
NAPC? I
Yeah.
think we need $150 for
Yep.
that. For our upcoming 2026 membership, organizational membership.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right, so we just set aside $700, excuse me, $600 out of our budget. That leaves 700 approximately for the year, for the 2025 fiscal.
Well, I'll make a motion to spend up to 250 for a banner for the HPC for the events that we do.
Okay. And I said I would do that. So I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right.
We're good.
Write all these motions down.
Did that account for everything, right?
No, we have money left over, but
But we've gotten
this
everything
is for
that
everything we wanted to do.
we wanted to do. Okay. Anyone else?
We just
That's
did
what we
that.
just did.
Yep.
And all right, so I got to get on that. Okay. We covered training in website, unless there's anything else pertaining to that. And item number 3. Looking to see.
Oh, you said about the is it 4 hours, Kate?
4
Yep.
hours required by January 1st of next year.
All right, I have no notes from last meeting about item number 4. So I believe that concludes our agenda. And we're on to miscellaneous. Does any board member have any miscellaneous item they'd like to bring up? Hearing none. All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second by Ms. Waterman Culpa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thanks, everybody.